Hi there, my name is Doug Burns, and I help businesses save time and money by selecting the right technology tools. In this video, I'm going to talk about Google AppSheet, and specifically when you might want to use Google AppSheet versus a regular Google Sheet. And if you're not familiar with Google AppSheet, it's another tool within the Google Workspace suite, and there's also a free version that you can use even if you just have a Gmail account. So if you haven't checked it out yet, it's definitely worth taking a look at. We're going to dive into AppSheet in a second, but before we do, I just wanted to remind you that if you want to see more videos about productivity tools like AppSheet, be sure to subscribe to this channel. I'm posting new videos weekly, and if you're subscribed, you'll be notified when they appear. All right, let's dive into AppSheet and take a look. All right, the first thing is that AppSheet will let you validate and limit the input. So I have an app here where I can create notes. I'm going to create a new note. You see it has a title here. Now, if I want the title to be required, all I have to do is go over here next to the title and click this require checkbox, and you see that now shows as required. And if I want to save the note and without putting anything in there, it will tell me that the entry is required. So that's one thing. Another great thing you can do in AppSheet is limit the types of input that are allowed within a certain field. So right now that title is text. If I want it to be a number instead, I can just change it to number. And you see there's now no option other than to put a number in. So this is different than Google Sheets where it's much more free form. You can put in some validation, but it's not the best user experience as far as the alerting to tell you that something's wrong. AppSheet makes that much easier. All right, another place that AppSheet is better is that it lets you restrict who can see what within the app. So in this app, I have two main menus here, which are called roster and entries. And then I have all these other menus down here for managing schools and coaches and divisions and events and all these other things that only an administrator can do. So I want the administrators to be able to see all these things, but I only want the coaches in this particular case to be able to see these two things up at the top. So the way that you can do that is by in your actual menus, there's a show if option down under display here. And if you click that, you can say, enter an expression that says who can see what. So in this particular case, I only want administrators to be able to see those items. So in this view over here, I'm logged in as an administrator. You see that I can see all those things. But if I switch to my phone, which is logged in as a different user, and I click that menu, you see that I don't see all those different options for managing schools, coaches, divisions, etc. So very easy to control who can see what at the menu level, which is something that's very hard in Google Sheets, where you basically just have the option to set that at a particular sheet level. Another great thing you can do in AppSheet is also control who can view what within the data itself. So in this particular case, I've created under entries two different subviews or slices, they're called, of that data. And you see within them, I have expressions defined down at the bottom that say, right here in the row filter condition, that say who can see the particular data. So if the person is an admin, they're able to see everything. If they're a coach of the school, in this particular case, there's an expression here that only lets them see the data for their particular school. So again, if I'm an admin and I'm in the app here and I'm looking at the entries I can see the entries for everyone. I can see the roster for everyone for all the different schools. And if I switch back over to my phone, which only is logged in as a coach of a particular school, you see I only see entries for my school and I only see the roster of students for my school. Again, something very difficult to do in Google Sheets, but pretty straightforward to do in AppSheet. All right, the next place that AppSheet is better is if you're just trying to use your app on a phone in general. So as I showed in the last one, we have the phone view of the app here. You see it's very easy to navigate between different menus, navigate around within the data, delete things. It's just really designed for actually using on a phone as well as on your computer. With Google Sheets, they do have the Google Sheets app for mobile, which is great for editing data if you have to when you're out and about, but it's nowhere near as easy to use as something like this, since you have to go in and click cells and go into a different view to be able to edit things and such. Everything is very easy to work with within AppSheet, and you can even deploy these apps as native mobile phone apps. So you can actually build this app and deploy it out to either the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store and have it be a real app that's available to users, just like other apps that you download every day. This one isn't quite as easy to show, but another thing that it does is it will let you work offline on your phone. So if you're out somewhere, say out working with a customer and you don't have a cell connection available and you don't have Wi-Fi wherever you are, you can actually go in, you can access your data or whatever the data was that was synced the last time you used your phone. You can add new records in, and the next time you're online, they'll automatically sync back up to whatever your data source is. So it's really great for that, and something that totally is not possible with Google Sheets at all. All right, and the next place that AppSheet is better is if your data contains relationships within it. So this is the app that I'm using to manage swim meets. You see that I have a coaches table here, and that has a ref within it to a school. And if I look at something like the entries table, these are the entries for swimmers in actual events. You see it has a ref back to the swimmer and a ref back to the event. So the way that this actually plays out within the app is that you're able to use those links in order to be able to navigate that data as you're browsing the app. So for example, this is the roster of the swimmers. If I click a swimmer, I can see the school that they're associated with through that net or that ref, and then I can go and navigate that to see some more details about the school and the actual coaches related to that school as well. So it really makes it easy to automatically and very simply link all that data together and be able to navigate through that data within your app. All right, and the last thing I want to talk about here is how AppSheet lets you actually perform different actions when something happens within the app. So this is configured within this little automation section or the little robot icon within the app here, and you can create an automation. This lets you actually build things based on suggestions that you type in, but I'm just going to say create a new bot right now, and I'm going to say configure an event, create an event. And what I'm interested in this particular case, let's say, is a new entry being added. So I select the entries table there. I'm just going to uncheck deletes and updates because the only thing that I'm really interested in is add. I can set up different conditions here. So if I'm only interested in adds in a specific case, I could put in an expression here to say what exactly that case is. So basically now this will be triggered whenever something is added to the entries table. And then below that, I can add a step to say what I want to do in that particular case. So I can do things like send an email, pop up a notification in the browser, send an SMS, call a webhook, which would let me call out to external services and make changes there, create a file and call a script, which lets me run a Google App script. So if there's some kind of capability that's not built into the AppSheet automations, but you want to be able to run in something like Gmail, you can actually like call a script and pass data into it and actually call out to other Google services and such using AppScript. So that's what that's used for. And finally, I can send a text message. So this lets you do a lot based on, again, changes that are happening within your app. Things like this are possible using AppScript and Google Sheets, but it's much more complicated. You don't have a nice user interface for being able to set things up like this, and it just doesn't work quite as easily as it does here. So another great feature of AppSheet. All right, those are just a few of the many reasons that you might want to consider using Google AppSheet for your project. If you have a specific question about AppSheet or whether it might be a good fit for your project, please reach out in the comments below and I'd be happy to share my thoughts.